There was something wrong with that wedding, but nobody said it out loud. The music was loud. People were dancing. Women were laughing. Men were drinking. The whole compound was full. It looked like happiness. It sounded like celebration. But there was something sitting quietly inside that place. Something nobody could see. Because the woman getting married that day didn't know the truth. And the man standing beside her didn't know it either. Even the family that came to celebrate with them had no idea. They were all smiling, all clapping, all praying for a happy home, not knowing that the man she was about to marry was her own sister's child. My name is Patience, and this is a story about a wedding that should never have happened. Her name was Tanya. It had taken her years to find someone she truly loved. Years of waiting, years of pressure, years of people asking questions. When will you marry? Are you waiting for something special? Time is going. She had heard it all. So when she finally met him, she held on. His name was David. He was calm, respectful, soft-spoken, the kind of man that made people feel safe around him. When he spoke, he didn't rush. When he laughed, it was quiet. When he looked at her, it felt real. I don't want to waste your time, he told her one evening. I'm not here to play. Tanya smiled that day, a real smile, the kind she hadn't given anyone in years. I'm not here to play either, she replied. And just like that, everything moved fast. Love came quickly, too quickly, but nobody questioned it. Because after everything Tanya had been through, everyone just wanted her to be happy. Even her family, even her elder sister. Her sister's name was Grace. She had come back home for the wedding. After so many years, people were excited to see her again. Grace, you finally came back. See how you're looking fresh. You didn't even age. She laughed, hugged people, acted like nothing had ever happened. Like she had never left. Like the past didn't exist. She stayed close to Tanya that day, helping her, fixing her dress, adjusting her hair. You look beautiful, Grace said softly. Tanya smiled. Today is my day, she replied. Yes, it is, Grace said. But for a brief moment, her eyes shifted to David. He was standing outside with some men, laughing, talking. Grace watched him for a second. Then she looked away. Something about him felt familiar, but she couldn't explain it. The wedding continued. The priest called them forward. Do you, Tanya, take this man to be your husband? I do, she said without hesitation. And do you, David, take this woman to be your wife? I do. Their voices were steady, confident. The crowd cheered, clapping, smiling, throwing small jokes. Finally, it's about time. Even Grace was smiling, clapping. But every now and then, her eyes would go back to him, studying him. His face, his posture, the way he moved. Something wasn't sitting right inside her. Later that evening, after the main ceremony, people gathered again, eating, drinking, talking freely. David was moving around, greeting people respectfully. Good evening, Ma. Good evening, sir. When he got to Grace, he paused. There was something strange in that moment. Like both of them felt it, but didn't understand it. Good evening, Ma, he said politely. Grace looked at him closely, too closely. Good evening, she replied slowly. She didn't move immediately. What did you say your name is? She asked. David, he answered. She nodded, still staring. Where are you from? Lagos, he said. She frowned slightly. Your parents? There was a small pause. I don't really know them, he said carefully. I grew up in a home. Something dropped inside her chest. A home, she repeated. Yes, an orphanage. Silence. Just for a few seconds. Then someone called her from behind. Grace, come and see something. She turned, answered, laughed. But her mind was no longer there. That night, everything started changing. The noise reduced. The crowd thinned. Tanya and David were inside, resting, talking quietly. Outside, Grace sat alone, thinking. Her heart was beating slowly, but but heavily. An orphanage, she whispered to herself. Her hand moved unconsciously to her back. A memory, old, buried. A small baby, crying. A night she never wanted to remember. She squeezed her eyes shut. No, she said under her breath. No, it's not possible. The next morning, everything became clearer. Too clear. Tanya called David from the room. Come and help me with something, she said. He removed his shirt casually, walking toward her. Grace was passing by. She stopped. Just for a second. Her eyes fell on his back. And then, her whole body froze. There it was. A small, dark mark. Right there. Exactly where she remembered. Exactly where she had placed it. That night. That child. Her child. Her breathing stopped. Her legs felt weak. No, she whispered, her voice shaking now. That mark. She took a slow step forward, her eyes locked on it, her heart pounding louder now. That mark. Her lips trembled. I have seen it before. The village felt quieter than usual. The celebrations had ended, but inside the new home, something heavy sat in the air. Tanya woke up first. Her head was aching slightly from the music, the laughter, the clapping of the night before. She looked at the room. The flowers from the wedding still lay on the floor, petals crushed underfoot. The air smelled faintly of food, perfume, and the small fires burning outside for cooking. David lay beside her, still asleep, calm and unaware. Tanya reached over, touched his shoulder, and almost recoiled. The thought from the day before had not left her. And then there was Grace, her elder sister. Grace had not slept. Not at all. Her mind went over every detail of the wedding. The way David moved, the way he smiled, the way he looked at Tanya. And then it came back to her, the memory she thought she buried. The mark on the baby's back. Her hands shook as she clutched the edge of the bed. Her heart pounded. She could not ignore it any longer. She found Tanya alone in the courtyard, arranging flowers for the morning meal. Tanya! Grace said softly, her voice shaking. Tanya looked up. Yes, Grace? Are you all right? Grace swallowed. I think David, he might be my son. Tanya froze. Her fingers paused in the flowers. What? She whispered. I had him when I was very young. I couldn't keep him. I left him in an orphanage. I never knew what became of him until now. Tanya blinked. Your son? That's impossible. David entered the courtyard just then, smiling, holding a cup of tea. Good morning, everyone, he said warmly. Grace's eyes met his. Her chest tightened. He looked at her with a calm curiosity. Good morning, Ma, he said politely. Grace's voice shook. David, I need to tell you something important. David frowned. What is it? She swallowed hard. I think I might be your mother. David froze. He stared at her, mouth opening slightly. What are you saying? I know this is hard, unbelievable, she said, tears forming in her eyes. I had a child when I was very young. I couldn't keep him. I left him at an orphanage. And I think it might be you. Tanya's hand flew to her mouth. She felt the room spin slightly. David's eyes widened, and his expression shifted from confusion to alarm. This cannot be true, he said slowly, almost whispering. This is insane. Why are you saying this now? I saw a mark, Grace whispered. A small mark on your back, the same mark I placed on him as a baby. David's hand went to his face. Wait, hold on. A mark? You're saying you're my mother because of a mark? Yes, Grace said, voice trembling. I need to know. We need to know for sure. David sat down heavily. Tanya stood silently beside him, her heart racing, mind trying to make sense of what she was hearing. Why now? He asked, voice low. Why today? We just got married yesterday. How could this happen? I only realized it last night, Grace said. I didn't want to believe it either, but I have to tell you, I couldn't hide it anymore. Tanya placed a hand on David's shoulder. We need proof. A DNA test. We cannot just assume this is true. David's hands shook. Yes, proof. We need proof. The nurse came with the test kit. The three of them sat quietly in the clinic room. The tension was unbearable. David stared at the floor, running his fingers through his hair. Tanya clutched her hands together, so tightly that her nails dug into her palms. Grace's hands trembled, and tears silently rolled down her cheeks. The nurse explained the process carefully. They followed the steps slowly, each motion feeling heavier than the last. Then came the waiting. Hours passed. No one spoke. The air was thick with fear, anticipation, and guilt. David finally broke the silence. If this is true, what does it mean for us? For me? For Tanya? Tanya swallowed hard. It doesn't change how we feel about each other. But we need to face reality. We need to know the truth before anything else. Grace's voice shook. I never wanted this to happen. I only wanted to see the truth, to know if he's my son. Finally, the nurse returned. Her expression was calm but serious. The results are in, she said. David and Tanya looked at her with wide eyes. Grace held her breath. The DNA confirms it, the nurse said softly. David, you are the biological son of Grace. Time stopped. Tanya felt her hands go cold. She could not speak. David stared at Grace, mouth open, eyes wide with disbelief. No, this cannot be real. How is this possible? Grace could only nod, tears streaming down her face. Yes, it is true, it is real. David sank into a chair, his hands covering his face. I married Tanya and... Tanya finally spoke, her voice trembling but steady. Yes, we are married, but you are her child. The silence that followed was heavy. Everything they thought they knew shattered in a single moment. The wedding celebration, the joy, the laughter gone. And now the real challenge began. How do they live with the truth? How do they survive this revelation? How do they face each other, now that everything has changed forever? The answer, nobody knew yet. Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more.